All right, good morning YouTube. So today I'm going to take you through a day in the life of an amateur bodybuilder 4.5 weeks out from my next show. So I know what you're thinking initially, that there's videos like this all over the internet. This one's going to be a little different because of a number of factors. One, I'm not actually a content creator. I occasionally make YouTube videos just kind of for fun. I'm married, have a couple kids, and I work a full-time job. I work 36 hours a week. I have no sponsors and no coach, so I'm doing this all on my own. And I watch a lot of these videos of day in the life or like how I prep for a show, and no hate to any of those guys. I like watching that stuff. I like watching the lifestyle, I like watching the fitness content, but it's just not very realistic for people that actually, work normal jobs or like have a normal life. So I thought I would just take you guys through my daily routine for like a work day and a non-work day. Today's a non-work day. Like I said earlier, I work 36 hours a week, so that's 4 9s. So I'm off one day during the week. My wife also works full-time, so on my days off during the week, I will spend my time at the gym, but I also will do a lot of meal prepping on those days and just kind of regular domestic duties, because that's when I have to do it. So first thing I did this morning, woke up and went to the bathroom, weighed myself. It was 138, which is the lightest I've been on this prep so far. It's actually lighter than my Dayton show I did last year with my first bodybuilding show. So with 4.5 weeks out, I'm slated to come in the leanest I've ever been. I should look really, really good. Still eating just under 2,000 calories a day and still losing weight. Again, I see a lot of guys that are eating like 1,600, 1,700 calories a day, and they're suffering. And I've never really been that way. I mean, the last show I did was in November of last year, and I was still eating up to 2,200 calories the week before and still losing weight. If I'm still losing weight, why lower calories? If it's gonna make me feel like crap, if it's gonna lower my hormones, I'm gonna keep those calories up. So after I weigh myself, I'm gonna go downstairs, have my first meal of the day. All right, so we got meal number one. I got, got some liquid IV and about 20 ounces of water. And then this is the Oikos Pro Vanilla. It's really good. Got one serving of that with 10 grams of Bare Naked, which one is this? Cacao and Cashew Butter Crunch. This is my favorite granola. It's awesome. Then I also have 2 mandarin oranges. I'll put the macros up on the screen. But yeah, I try and have some protein every morning, at least 20 grams, just to get me going, because I haven't had any since last night. So I'll have this and those, and then on my way to the gym, I'll have some pre-workout carbs. So good. All right, so now I just dropped my son off at preschool, so it's time for pre-workout. The gym's about 20 minutes away. Pre-workout today is just a Rice Krispie treat. I also have some Gorilla Mode pre-workout in here. And then I forgot to mention that I have, every morning I have 5 grams of creatine in my water. And I have another 5 grams at night. At the beginning of my cut, I started to up it to 10 grams a day, just to kind of see if it made a big difference. I'm not sure if it made a big difference, but hasn't seemed to hurt anything. And creatine's so cheap, it's why not try it anyways, So I'm gonna smash this real quick and head to the gym. I'm gonna go to the Defiance today because, I don't know, it's just a little more friendly towards filming. The other gym I go to, you can film, it's fine, nobody cares. But there's just more people doing it at Defiance, so I feel a little less weird about filming stuff like this, talking to the camera there. But yeah, I'm gonna smash this. I'm gonna go hit some back and biceps, which is my favorite day. Back day is the best day. All right, made it to the gym. I would have recorded myself walking in, but there's a guy out there mowing. It's gonna be really loud. First exercise is gonna be probably some type of plate-loaded lat pull down. I was gonna do neutral grip, but that machine's taken, so let's go into the back room and hit that up. This is what I'm calling the back room, because almost all these machines are back. I'm gonna hit some lat pull down on this plate-loaded machine right here, but they have a hammer strength. I got a lat pullover over here. You got the old stress supported T-bar row, a true seal row, which is kind of fun to use, and then this back machine here. This one's pretty nice too, but I don't think I'm gonna use it today. I think I'm gonna do seated row, but right now we're gonna use this bad boy right there. All right, so I did one warm-up set. I usually pyramid up and wait a little bit, then go down in reps. So I did 12, added some weight, now I'm gonna do 8 reps, and then 4, then get to my working weight. Blah. 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 Ah. This is usually about when I take the hoodie off. I've been trying to stay really warm for all my warm-up sets, to really get the joints warmed up and loose, so that I don't end up injuring myself. Because at this point, 4.5 weeks out, injury rate's probably a little higher because I'm lower in calories, a little more fatigued. Trying to drink plenty of water. That's one thing I'm really, really bad about. I don't get a thirst urge. I'm never thirsty. My thirst presents itself as hunger. And so I'll be hungry when I realize I can't eat, so I just don't do anything. So the last couple of weeks, I've really been trying to focus on drinking plenty of water, I'd like to get a gallon a day, but it's actually really hard for me to do. I've only done that successfully like once or twice ever. But one more warm-up set, and then we get into the working weight. All right, so now we're at working weight. Pulled out the old grips for this one, because trying to get a big back. I don't care if I can't actually pull it. Doesn't matter to me, it's not my goal. Strapped in here. Oh yeah, we're locked. All right. Ha! Toasty. The only thing I don't like about doing unilaterals, it just takes twice as long. And sometimes, depending on how tired you are from the first half, you might have to wait a little bit. That's why I don't like Bulgarian split squats, because I'm usually so fatigued from the first leg. I have to wait like a minute before I do the second leg, and it just takes so long. But on the other hand, for instance, like on Bulgarians, it's a very effective workout, so you don't need to do that many sets. So I have mixed feelings about it, but generally try and do both sides at the same time. All right, last set. Let's go. Let's go do some seated row. All right, straight bar seated row here. I'll just do one warm-up set as like a feeler set. So we'll just do that right now, just make sure everything's feeling good still. All right, feeler set was easy, so working our way up to the working weight here. Or we are in the working weight here.
right, we're back in the back room for some lat pullover. I was really excited when I got this machine because they used to have one of these, I'm sure they still do have one of these at the Kettering Rec Center, and I used to love to use it. So I was really excited when I got one of these. And it's not as great as I remember, honestly. I was a little disappointed, but it's still a pretty good machine. I just wish there was a little foot thing to get down. I have trouble. Right there. Yeah, so 2 sets of this, and then some more, brachialis, or some hammer curls. And then maybe some face pulls to do some rear delt action, and then abs, and we're out of here. Stop. All right.
Girl, you got me shook from the way your body looks. Got me riding hooks, got me feeling like a rook. I don't do it by the book, but for you I'll take a look. Don't know what to took, sweet and spicy like a cook, yeah. I'll keep it real, let's make a deal. Buy you a meal if you just let me feel. Get out your heels, grab on the wheel. Back to my place at the top of the hill. Don't have regrets, I know what's next. She ain't fresh, I'll be back in a sec. Look at the legs, don't make me beg. Back to the room, let me show you my bed. Yeah, your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough.
The lights in the posing room aren't working, so we'll just have to use the window here, but yeah, I'm looking pretty good. Again, I don't have a hat or anywhere to put my mic when I take my shirt off, so I'll just do some posing and undercut it with some music. How about that? All right, I'd say that's looking pretty darn good. Even my legs are starting to look lean, which is good because that's kind of the last thing that comes out when I get really lean. Starting to see my brachialis there. Lighting in here isn't the best, but you know that's good. If you look good in bad lighting, you'll look great in good lighting. So, a little tip picked up from Lane Norton. But yeah, let's head back to the Odyssey minivan. I'm rocking the minivan today. Have our post-workout snack, not meal, and then go grocery shopping because, again, this is just a day in the life. All right, we went to Kroger. I had my Built Bar on the way here. Need to get just a few things, not that much. Need to get some salad dressings, some croutons. That's shaking like crazy, sorry. Yogurt, eggs, waffles, and coffee for the wife. All All right, first up we got Wishbone Light Italian dressing. This stuff is great on salads. 2.5 grams of fat per serving. I have like 1.5 servings on my salads. This tastes just as good as normal stuff. So like even if I wasn't on a cut, I'd probably still choose this one. Ooh, there we go. All right, so Southwest style croutons. I'll use 1 serving of this, 1.5 grams of fat, 4 grams of carbs, 1 gram of protein. So you know, you can put that on your salad, dress it up a little bit. All right, now we're in the waffle aisle. A while back, I got some Kroger brand buttermilk waffles, and I had one on my refeed day a few weeks ago. Not nearly as good as Eggo. So if you're gonna get waffles, you gotta go Eggo. Like there's no other option. And now we're coming up on the eggs. Let's see. Normally I would get the 60 count, but I'm not eating that many eggs right now because I'm eating mostly egg whites. So we're just gonna go 18 count of Kroger brand. I don't get fancy with eggs. I've had fancy eggs, I've had unfancy eggs, and the unfancy eggs seem to taste just the same. I think they have the same macros, so Kroger brand it is. Yep, all there. All right, I lied. We need a couple more things. We need some rice cakes. I forget which kind I need, but I think I'm just gonna get one of each. Apple cinnamon, caramel, and the low sodium, like lightly salted ones, because I like them all. And actually that reminds me, I need to get some sugar-free jam, so I'm glad I came to this aisle. Oh, they do have a Kroger brand caramel, and it's $1 cheaper. I'll get that. I generally will try and get Kroger brand when I can, except for the waffles because they suck. All right, so now you meet me at home. I went and looked for that sugar-free jam. They didn't have any. They didn't have any of the grape like last week, but they had the strawberry. They didn't have any of either this week, so I might have to like buy it online or something. I'm getting kind of worried. They have it in the jars, but I like the squeeze bottles because it's way easier. But for lunch, we have a caramel rice cake with reduced fat peanut butter, which is pretty good. And then here, this is the bulk of the meal. This is 2 eggs with 200 grams of egg whites. And then, you know, that's pretty boring. So what I'll do is I'll cut up a bell pepper and I'll still leave it in the fridge. And I'll sprinkle in some bell pepper and some chopped up white onion. And I put tahini over that. And it makes it like a really good snack. Super low fat for the amount of protein that's in this. I'm not sure the exact macros. I'll put them on the screen. But I'll eat this in the caramel rice cake. Then take a shower, and then it's meal prep time. So I try and meal prep at least 5 meals every Tuesday, and then I try and do another 5 meals on like a Sunday or like a Thursday. So I'll have 5 prepped meals by the end of the day that I'll split between me and my wife, and then the rest of the food is like semi-prepped. Like I bought a rotisserie chicken from Costco on Sunday, I tore it up, and then I prepped a bunch of lettuce. So you know, I just have to put that together. So it's not a complete meal that's put together, but all the parts are already ready to just throw together real quick. Because you really need to meal prep. You have to have food ready to go so that you know what's in it and you know the macros and all that stuff. Because all the food I'm eating today, I planned yesterday. Sometimes I'll plan a couple days in advance. Usually just 1 day in advance. It depends on kind of life schedule and stuff like that. You know, what we're doing with the kids or other events outside of my control. And you just always have to have stuff ready to go, because you never know what's going to happen, especially with kids. But I'm going to eat this, shower, and then I'll meet you in the kitchen. We're going to meal prep deconstructed chicken pot pie, which is really good. So I'll see you then. All right, so now I showered, shaved, same day, everything. I'm going to start my meal prep. A couple tips for meal prep here. Helps to have a nice sharp knife and a big cutting board. It makes it so much easier. So I'm going to cut these things up. The potatoes will go in there to boil, and then I'll cut up the celery. And the onion will be last, because you don't want to cut up the onion first and make it like onion flavoring on everything else. So that's a little tip right there. So cut these in half again, and then try and make up about the same size so that when they boil evenly. Unless you want lumpy mashed potatoes. Sometimes a lumpy mashed potato is pretty good. All right, so I got all the vegetables chopped up. Now I got to move on to the chicken. This recipe calls for 2 pounds of chicken breast. This is actually 3 pounds, but once I trim it, that'll lose some weight. Even then, it's not going to take a whole pound off because this is pretty lean chicken. But I'd rather have more protein in here than less. Always underestimate your protein, overestimate your fat. Answer your question, if you can hear the background, yes, that is Blippy in the background. My toddler would not nap, so he's hanging out with my sister. But we're gonna give this a minute and then we'll throw the chicken in. All right, so now it's time to add the chicken to the pot. I don't wanna have to wash my hands again, so I'm gonna use a fork. I'm just gonna pick it up like that. Throw her in like that. Just, you know, having to wash your hands, again, just it's one more step I'm trying to eliminate. I'm trying to simplify this whole process. because I want to get it done as quickly as possible because I'm kind of busy. So get all those in there. And the last time I made this, ended up being a little bit too watery, so I'm not going to add in all 32 ounces of this chicken broth. Just going to kind of eyeball it and leave some in the container. Just enough to cover the chicken. All right, so the chicken is done. I shredded it up. I put it back in here. Now I'm going to add the vegetables. Earlier I said I was going to explain why I'm using mixed vegetables. This recipe calls for 200 grams of chopped up carrots and then another 200 grams of frozen peas, but that's a lot of work. So I decided to use 400 grams of just mixed vegetables. So I'm just going to throw them in here, bring it to a boil, and then mix together the mashed potatoes, which are done, with these, and you have yourself a deconstructed chicken pot pie. This is a meal that's got less than 500 calories, 47 grams of protein, 47 grams of carbs, and 13 grams of fat. So I'll just let those vegetables warm up and then mix it all together. That's one of those little tips I found that just keeps things simple. So, you know, anytime you can cut out any friction points with your meal prep, you should do it. So anything that's prepped ahead of time, just do that. You know, frozen vegetables are easier than chopping up your own vegetables. Might be a little more expensive, but to me, that's worth it. So mix these together and then have afternoon snack. So I finished up meal prepping and now it's time for afternoon snack. Afternoon snack, it's gonna seem kind of random. That's because it is. These are shrimp burgers from Trader Joe's. My plan was to have some cocktail shrimp tonight because it's like pretty much pure protein. I sell big bags of it at Costco. I was just going to take some out and bought. When I typed in shrimp to macro factor, these came up, and I forgot that I had these in my freezer. So I decided to just go ahead and eat these. I only had 2 left. So these are my afternoon snack, and then I won't eat again. It's 3:38. I won't eat again until dinner. Probably 6:30 I'll eat again. For that, I'm going to have some chicken chunks with a potato. So that should be pretty filling and pretty good. I'm going to eat this. Play, I don't know, 20 minutes of Tears of the Kingdom on my Switch 2. I was lucky enough to get a Switch 2. I just went in last Thursday, or the Thursday I came out, the 5th, to Target, and I just happened to have them on the shelf at like 10 o'clock in the morning. So I got one the day they released. So I'll play a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom, and then go get my son. My other son didn't nap when he was supposed to nap today, so it took a lot longer to meal prep. Didn't get as much done today as I was hoping. You know, that happens when you're a parent. You got to plan for these things. It's just kind of why I'm making this video, because this is what it's like. Tomorrow I'm going to make a video about my daily routine and everything to get ready for the show, but going to work. So that's going to be pretty different. I'm hoping to release the videos like, you know, one right after the other, so they can be quite a comparison. But I'm going to smash these, play some games, then go get my son. All right, so it's dinner time. So I have in front of me, this is 2 servings of the Just Bare chicken chunks, which are like awesome. And then we have 1 russet potato, 108 grams of potato. And on that, I'm going to put Jersey Mike's hot pepper relish. I would have put normal salsa on it, but I forgot to buy salsa at the store today. But on the Just Bare chicken chunks, I have got this huge sugar-free sweet chili dipping sauce. This stuff is awesome. 5 calories for 2 tablespoons. And I usually don't even use both tablespoons. It's amazing. This is so good, I'm going to eat it even when I'm not prepping for a show. The pepper relish is the same. It's 1 tablespoon for 5. So I'll probably use 2 servings of this and like 1.5 servings of this. I don't even know if I'll track it or not. Full disclosure, I did have a piece of pizza. I had a piece of the Kirkland cauliflower crust supreme pizza. Still fits in with my macros. So still under 2,000 with what I'm going to eat later and this. So, you know, why not enjoy myself? So I'm going to have this, and then I'll eat it one more time before I go to bed after cardio, which is probably where you'll see me next. I'm going to finish up eating this and then go do a bedtime activity with the kids, get into bed, and then ride the bike. So it's now 9 o'clock at night. It's time for cardio. So I'm going to do about a half hour on the stationary bike here. What I'll do is I'll set up an iPad right here so I can't see how long I've been going. I'll find a video or a show that's like a half hour, 40 minutes long, something like that, and just watch that till the end. That way I don't know how long I've been doing cardio for, and it goes away way faster that way because the time is like right here. It's also on my watch, so I'll just have my wrist off to the side, so
I can't actually see my watch. But yeah, we just got done with the kids, dishes, dinner, all that stuff. I think my 5-year-old is actually still awake. My wife's dealing with him right now. But this is the time that I have to do cardio, so I have to do it now. And then after this, I will have some strawberries and yogurt before I go to bed. So get this done, and I'll meet you there. All right, so I ended up doing 38 minutes of cardio. I just watched one YouTube video. I was gonna stop when the video was over, but I looked at my watch and it said that I had burned 195 calories. I'm like, I gotta get to 200 at this point, you know, so I did that. So last meal of the day, this is 7 ounces of strawberries, then 120 grams of vanilla Greek yogurt, 100 grams of plain Greek yogurt to kind of balance out the sweetness from the vanilla, and then 15 grams of that same granola I had this morning, the cacao and cashew butter. And then these are awesome. These Ocean Spray Zeros, 10 calories for this bottle. It's a 10 fluid ounce bottle. They also make these in like the big bottle, so you can just kind of like pour however much you want at a time. And it is 9:50 at night. So I'm gonna eat this, go upstairs and read. I've been reading some fiction lately. I was reading parenting books and some philosophy books, but like there's too much thinking before bed. So I've been liking to read fiction books that I've already read before. That helps relax me a little bit. But the grand total for today is 1,908 calories, 175 grams of protein, 58 grams of fat, and 176 grams of carbs, which is still a deficit for me. So I have about 4.5 weeks to go, still losing weight. So tomorrow I'm basically gonna do this same type of video, but with a work day. So I'll show you how I prep for a show with working, normal hours. So if you made it to the end, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.